Microsoft website. Right? So obviously Microsoft is considered as a AAA organization. So pretty much they have a very cool looking website. The layout is streamlined. Pretty much all the pizzazz is there expected of a web page. Now, if we let me go back. If we do a view page source, because we're expecting that Microsoft, now being the in of the industry, adheres to standards, no? So if we dissect the content and we go through, this is still the heading area. Now, if you notice, the tags here are still linked, and that's associated with CSS. And there are quite a number of them. Then we go to other elements. Now, there's a meta tag there. So where is the body part? No? So this is a script. So this is where JavaScript is. Okay, so right, here's the body. Okay, now notice that if we reach this area here where the main content is, and take note, which element are they using? Are they using semantic tags? They're still using div. That's why I said old habits die hard. Even Microsoft, who is also advocating for semantic tags, are not using semantic tags for their primary layout, for the primary website. They're still using div and then just giving an ID description, which is the same as that one. No? Same. Okay? So we can say that even if HTML5 is pushing the standard for semantics, because it works. That's the argument there. Many of the older coding HTML or website developers will always say, it works. So why do I need to change my practice? But again, that's why the focus now is not really to teach old dogs new tricks, but to teach the younger generation. That from your standpoint, you begin to adhere to the semantic approach. And because you're building your foundation from there, then that will become second nature to you. So in your generation, you are going to be starting with the semantics already. You're not going to resort to the div approach. Right? At least I hope you are not. That's the point there, that you adhere to what's the new approach now. Okay? So the correct way to use this is like this. You have a correspondence to the div element with the corresponding HTML5 semantic tag. So before, it's a generic div with an IDU header. Now, we have header. And it's more meaningful if you see in your code header, so you know, okay, that's the header part. Then, the div ID nav is now nav. So there's really a qualified tag saying that's navigation. That is where your menu is supposed to be. And then main can be the main area of your page. Okay? Think of main as the main container. Okay? And then your articles. So the stories that you are trying to convey. Or in the case of Microsoft, it's more on the products that they are trying to present. No? So, no, all of these. Okay? So, the name of this layout actually is, or this design approach is called the minimalist design approach. And you're actually going to see many of the modern websites follow this particular approach in developing web pages. No? Let's have another one here as an example. Let's say we'll have another company that's very prominent internationally is Dell. Now I think you're familiar with Dell computers. No, how many have Dell laptops here? None? Dell, this is also a Dell laptop. So, if we take a look at Dell, and as you can see, the layout is very, very similar. Very similar. In fact, the look and feel, no, is almost identical to Microsoft's. No, the same tone, no, the blue and the organization of the elements. See, it's very, very similar. It's still minimalist. No? And let's say we'll go to a popular website, let's say Steam. C-O-M. No, because there's a mistake. Forgot to put the O. Right. So see, even Steam with although the core scheme is different. Okay. I know that you would react to this because it's a gaming site. So you're more receptive to this type of site. But take note, the idea is still the same. The idea is still the same. The only difference is, in this compared to the others, is that they have an aside. We go back to our old layout here. You have the aside there. In Steam's layout, you have the aside here. Okay? Their main navigation is the one on top, that area over there. They have two navigation areas. You have this, which is the main, and then this. Everything here is the aside area. That means it's not really a part of the main site, but it is still noteworthy for someone like you to be interacting with. I know that many of you play Steam. Now, this is the same layout, by the way, with the Steam client. It's the same. Now, my question there is, do you interact with this area here? Yes. No. Yes. How many say yes? Free to play, no? But again, compared to the total number of people having Steam, not many will interact with this area. No? Because mostly where you interact with is here. The middle area. Because that is the main content. That's the main content. That's where the games are shown. So pretty much the layout is the same with the client. You have the list here. Right? So let's have another one. Let's have let's have Epic.
Sweet to me.
Right, so in Epic, same idea, more minimalist than Steam's. They don't have a lot of things showing on the main screen. They go directly to selling the games. So lesser ang ilang dialogue not concerned with games, they are more into selling the games themselves.
What concert? PlayStation.
PlayStation, the website PlayStation. I think it's not the PlayStation website that you're after. It's the PlayStation Network. I think the one with the games, because the PlayStation site is. I think it's not really that. Let's say PlayStation. Yeah, I think it's just the units. Yeah. I think only the consoles are here. So yeah, they have some games already here on sale. But not, again, same minimalist characteristic of the website. No? You notice that this is the new trend now, no? A lot of space, no? With very little text and graphics. No? This is actually implementing what is known as an eye rest area. No? So that your eyes won't move a lot. No? So you only focus on a certain area of the screen without really reading the whole content. No? Okay, so this is both games and consoles. Games and consoles. Yeah. Okay, we'll try Roblox. But this is for kids.
Yes.
You think you're still kids?
Yes.
How old is it? Ah. You need to sign in. Not a member. Okay, so. Alright, so as you can see, all of them share the same characteristic, no, in the way the layout is placed. No, na kay header area, you have the navigation area. Also, unsay na sa navigation will be different. It will differ from site to site. No? And some of them may have the aside, because mostly the aside will be optional in some layouts. No? But the main content, the section or the articles are there. No? And the footer is also there in terms of the elements. Right? So, they are, the HTML structure tags are, number one, main. No? So, specifies the main content of your document, and there must be not more than one main on your page. So, only one main. Okay, so that can be for the whole, let's say, body, then main. No? Then from there, you can then proceed to your headers. So the site header or section header. So you can have site header, this tag, section header, this tag, and article header, this tag still. Okay? So semantically, it is still a header. Now, you can add information by putting an ID and then describing the ID. So you might say, header, ID, main header. Then header, ID, article 1 header. Okay? So the ID will add the additional information to the semantic description, but the header is enough to describe that that's a heading of your text. Yeah? And then your footer. Mostly, there's only one common footer. It's normally at the bottom and then usually contains copyright information, links to other pages, miscellaneous links to other resources. Okay? So, that's a very common element that you will see. Then the nav for your navigation. So your menu is normally going to be there. No? So however you present it in your CSS, that will be described as navigation. Then the aside, as I've said, it's not very common. So some will use the aside, some will not. Then the section. So the section is actually we could say the primary replacement for the div. No? Instead of saying division, you say section. Right? And then older people will say it's easier to type div than section. Well, that's them. This is you. No? So a mix of these will help you to create the structure of your page. Then the content will be, of course, composed of many of the tags that you have already encountered from our previous topics. And then some that are specific to HTML5, like the article tag. Okay? The article tag is a description of a certain article or a group of paragraphs that are cohesively organized together. Okay? Then, details plus summary. So these two are actually, depending on the browser, if it supports it, will implement an accordion widget. Now, so what is an accordion widget? Pretty much you will see an arrow on the line of text. There's an arrow, and then when you click on that arrow, it will expand and then collapse. Okay, that's what we call an accordion. Okay, but if your browser does not support it, then you have JavaScript to implement this. Now, this can be implemented programmatically as well. Then you have the time element. No? So what does this do? Does this show you the time of day? It does not. It just simply describes that if you put 2 o'clock there and then define it as time, then by organization, that area there contains the time. No? So you may put styling there for time, targeting that particular element, then giving a style for that particular element. Then we have the mark, which defines highlighted text. Okay, so when you want an area to be highlighted, then you can use the mark tag to identify that, then put the styling in. Okay? Again, it's more on the semantics rather than on the physical display. Okay, then you have figure. So figure is used to describe figures on it may be research material, it may be a certain document, and you have a figure that you want to display, then you can contain that image inside a figure, and that will be semantically identified as a figure. Okay? Then your figure needs to have a caption. So, thick caption, together with your figure, will be one particular entity. No? You have the picture, then you have the title underneath. No? That's thick caption. Then of course video, we've seen this already. Then audio. Then you have dialogue, which defines a dialogue box or a dialogue window. Okay? Now, a dialogue box or dialogue window is something that will pop out whenever you interact with it. Now, an example here is Facebook's new interaction when you click on a comment. No? Have you noticed that? When you click on a comment, it focuses on that comment. Right? Yes. No? So that's a dialog box. Okay? And normally that is powered through JavaScript to make it happen. It's displayed on your screen. Then we have meter and progress tags. Now this, with the help of JavaScript, because it depends again on your browser if they implement this, this will give you a progress bar. you're loading something and then you want to see the progress, there's some sort of interaction, then this will display a progress bar. Okay? And then output, it defines the result of a calculation. So this tab, again, does not really have any cosmetic purpose, but organizationally, it describes the output of a calculation. Okay, so whatever calculation it might be, and you want to have a special styling for that, you can target that element. Then an element that's probably, we can say, the least used in this particular list is called the WBR, or the possible break tag. So a possible break tag, in contrast to the break tag. Now, we've described the break tag before as putting in an actual break to the next line arbitrarily by putting BR. So in a WBR, it lets you control the break of your paragraph if a certain screen size is reached. So instead of automatically word wrapping, WBR will help you to control where that break is going to be. Again, it's not something that you commonly use. But again, I'm just showing you this because HTML5 has a mix of a lot of tags that some are very obscure, I mentioned that before, and some are very common. So this is the most obscure of those. Okay, so other elements. You have, these are the ones that we commonly use already, coming from HTML4. The headings, the H1s, the H6. Strong, if you remember. Then emphasis. Remember, we don't use B anymore, we don't use I, we use these. Then the block quotes, citation. So mix of these and the elements that we have encountered before, are all already, you could say, forming the basic foundation of what you might want to have in your web page. You don't need to actually memorize everything in HTML5 because not all of them are used every time. But the structure tags are the ones that are, we could say, a little bit mandatory in terms of the structure. So you start off with your header, your main, then your header, then your navigation, then your footer, then your articles. Then everything goes within. Whatever you want. You want the form, you want the list, all of those elements. Right? So, now we have 2 minutes left, and I end the class with this one. But in your LMS, I have an assignment for you. Now this goes back to the form. Now remember we had the activity of the form, the simple form in your online class when we had the online class. So now we have a complex form that mixes the layout of a table and a form. So pretty much you use the table to simulate the look of the form that you're going to see. Now, just follow the instructions in LMS. Alright? Okay, so with that, I end the class. So we are now free.